Hello and welcome back to another character creation video. My name's Lumen and today we're having a look at Erenshor. Erenshor is a single-player nod to the MMORPGs of the past. You will meet and group with hundreds of Erenshor's SimPlayers, which are your digital companions that persistently exist in the world and progress independently. They will always be ready to group with you and adventure alongside you whenever you wish. There's obviously also an entire world to explore, a story to play through, thousands of items, quests, raids, secrets to discover, and no microtransactions ever. So yeah, it's something a little different, which is awesome. If you'd like to do a deep dive to discover all there is to discover about Erenshor, you can find some links below, and as always there will be timestamps. Use them, find what you're looking for, and leave satisfied. As we jump in here, I'm going to mention that there is an outline shader that you can turn on or off that changes the way the game and the characters look. I personally prefer it off. Thus, I am showing this entire process off with that shader disabled. It's a simple click of the button. You can turn it on if you like. It's a choice you can make. Alright? I believe it looks neater and tidier with the shader off. Thus, here we are. Alright. Now, when you jump in, you are presented with this screen right here, where you get to make your character. We're going to start by having a look at all the cosmetic options that are available. I'm going to say here at the beginning, the male and female options, they are almost entirely the same. That's the first thing I will cover in a mere moment. Then we'll move on to the skin color, the hairstyle, and the hair color. And after that, the classes. I have a little description for each of the classes, a rundown of what they like, what they do, and so on and so forth. And that will be that. So, let's begin. First choice, male and female. That's it. So, as you can see, your character, it changes pretty significantly, but that is what the extent of it looks like, right? So, as an example, you can change the hairstyle a bunch. You can switch back, and then you'll see the face changes, there's some stubble, and the body changes, and that's that. You can just switch back at any point, and you'll be back on female, no problem, right? So, it's a simple thing, but it's obviously a big deal, because, you know, you want to choose the way your character looks. You want to make your own character here. It can be either male or female. There you go, right? For the purposes of looking at the options available, I'm just going to leave it on the female setting right now, and we'll go through it. And at the end, I'll switch a little bit between, and we'll see what some of the different variations or combinations look like. All right. Skin colors. Pretty interesting here. I like that they don't take things too seriously. Which is your first indication, is the fact that you can have basically what I would consider like a vomit color on your skin. It's more so the lighting, okay? I'm just going to point that out. I know that's supposed to be a darker skin tone, a regular brown or whatever, but because of the lighting, it comes off as something else entirely. There are a whole lot of really cool skin tones here, even, as you can see here, blues, greens, pinks, and so on and so forth. It's fantastic. And again, because of the art style, I think it's a good fit for something like this, because you can really make your character the way you want it. And, you know, the way your character looks, it could have meaning to you, right? It could have meaning. You could be a rockborn, you know, a being made entirely of slate. You could be a swamp dweller that found their way to civilization and become refined enough to deal with the humans of this world. You know, this is like, come on, man. You make something up, you tell a little backstory, and that's fun. Again, it's kind of cool when games don't take themselves too seriously. And with an art style like this, I feel if they had taken themselves too seriously, it would have been a little paradoxical. It's like, I mean, come on. So, it's fantastic. I love that they've given us a few interesting skin tones to work with, because there are some interesting combinations to throw together with them. So there you go. Skin colors, thumbs up already just for that. Now, hairstyles, we're going to leave it on the default red that they have here quickly, and we're going to go through them. I will spin the character around so you can look. I believe they have a pretty fantastic selection here of longer and shorter styles, and they are interesting. Now, I've seen this art style before in games, and oftentimes it's a hit or miss. It's kind of difficult to convey the more intricate details in things like hairstyles with so few angles. It's kind of difficult, you know? So the fact that they make any of it work, somehow, some way, we made our character look like Jude Law. Amazing. But the fact that they make it work and the fact that they have some interesting styles here, it's cool. As we go through here, I will just say that even though they have, again, a good mix of longer and shorter styles, I firmly believe that the longer styles to me look a little nicer when they cover up the head a little more. And I kind of like it when there's more on top. With this art style that they went with, I dig it. You know, it is the kind of game where you're going to be covering up your character pretty soon after you start. Optionally, of course. But I believe that for most people, yeah, man, it's not going to matter all that much. But I care about things like this, right? And I like specifically some of these longer styles where they put a little bit more detail in there. It looks cool. Looks really nice. Obviously, the amount of detail here it's not going to blow your mind, but I think it's a pretty cool style, and the fact that they managed to make it simple and satisfying at the same time, it's a win. It's a win for everyone involved. There you go. We're back at the start. It's pretty cool. For the purposes of the video, we're going to go with one of these that I really like. I personally dig that one. I think it looks really cool. And we're going to look at the colors. So this is probably the strongest point of the entire character customization system. I believe these colors are awesome. They have some really nice shades here, vibrant colors. They obviously have the more grounded in reality hair color types, but they also have some fun colors because, you know, again, you throw an art style like this on a game, you don't expect people to get stuck on things like the color of hair, you know? It's something that I think they'll suspend their disbelief for just a little while, and that's cool. That's the way it should be. We're playing a game for fun here. Let us have fun. Let us customize our characters a little bit. Let us throw a cool color on our hair if that's what we desire. I mean, says the guy that will most likely exit character creation with this color on their hair. I know. I cannot help myself. Although, I'm actually kind of a fan of this one. Perhaps I'll go for this instead. But that is basically the end of it. You choose your class now, you throw your name in, and then you jump in. We'll look at the classes in just a moment. In terms of the male visual style, you can quite easily just throw something else on there. I'll show you how it looks. And you can walk away with a character that, in my opinion, yeah, can look quite masculine. Lots of different combinations here. I firmly believe that you should be able to make something that suits you. Right? Okay. That is it. As a little extra, I've discovered that you can randomize by just clicking on new character constantly. So I'll give you guys a quick look at what's actually available with this system. It's a nice way to just see quick and dirty what you can do. All the different combinations thrown together randomly in some pretty satisfying ways, I would say. I kind of dig it. I think that specifically with the skin tones being so out there, you can make some combinations that I would say look quite satisfying. It's cool. It's cool. I would most likely end up going with something that has darker hair, closer to a black, or lighter hair, closer to the white. And I would go for like a darker skin tone maybe with that. I don't know, it just looks nice, it's satisfying. It's a similar thing to what I did with Pal World. I think that there are a lot of really fun combinations that you can throw together. And again, this gives you a good look at basically just all of it muddled up. It's not always going to make sense. It's not always going to look, well, you know, together. Sometimes it might look a little unhinged, a little ridiculous, but that's part of the fun. And I think that fun is one of the names of the game where this is concerned. I actually like quite a lot the fact that you can make sort of like a semi-drow with this quite easily. That's beautiful. With the darker skin tone and the white hair. Kind of nice. So yeah, that's a quick look at what you can do. A little randomization before we continue. Speaking of which, let's continue. Now we're going to talk about the classes. So first up is the Arcanist. Arcanist is a magical being who thrives in cloth armor. They command magic of all types, and they have many tools to avoid close physical combat. The Arcanist should focus on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. You don't specifically start with the whole kit for the Arcanist. When you jump in, you just get the class and you sort of thrown out there into the world, and you're told, hey, go, exist, make your way. So you're going to pick and choose the items you get. You're going to pick and choose the gear you equip. So the starting point, while it is important, it's not going to, right from the very beginning, be all that impactful. You will grow into the choice that you make here. Arcanist sounds fun, though. It's pretty cool. Next up, we have the Duelist. Is a master of offensive combat and is best while using light armor and weapon types. They thrive on combat. They gain health by dealing damage and excel at crippling their opponent's abilities. Duelists should focus on dexterity, strength, and intelligence. Pretty cool. I'd most likely go for the Duelist. It just sounds fun. The Druid is the master of all things nature, both pleasant and unpleasant. There you go. The Druid can call upon not only the force of life, but also commands the power of death. Druid should focus on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Then finally we have the Paladin. Master of weapon combat, excels at using heavy armor and weapon types. To sustain in battle, a Paladin can depend on Solunarian, magic of the day and night. Yeah. I have a blank face right now because I understand none of that, but I'm sure it'll become apparent when you play the game. A Paladin should focus on strength, agility, and endurance. And that's it. Those are your starter classes. Those are the choices you are offered. Man, as we head into the outro here, I'm just going to say, damn, we are lucky. We are blessed to have so many indie devs out there forging their own paths, doing their own thing, making games that they are passionate about. It's just cool. I think that the fact that we get things like this, it's not the kind of game, it's not the pitch that I thought would ever exist. You know? The single player MMO. I never thought this would come to be, but here it is. It's an MMO for an old man like me that doesn't have the time to group up with other people, to schedule things, to try and, you know, make X amount of hours every day to play. I'm not saying the game is going to be for everyone. I'm not saying the game is going to be a great success. What I'm actually saying is that it's cool that people are trying new things. And hey, anything that's even adjacent to the MMORPG space is a thumbs up from me. I want to see more of that. We haven't seen that many good, successful and interesting MMOs in the last while, and here we are, man. There's something new, something different. So in terms of what's available here, it's quite limited. And the art style is quite minimalistic and simple, but that is not a bad thing. It is the style that they went for. It's very old school in nature, and I dig that. And when you actually jump into the game, which I have done, you will see it suits the game quite well. So I'm quite happy with it. I think it's kind of cool. It is something that they can very easily iterate on. They can add to it. They can modify things. They can make it feel better based on player feedback and reactions. And that's also awesome, you know? The game obviously grows and evolves as you keep playing, so just know that as you jump in, you will discover more, you will see more, and there will be more. But hey, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you guys being here for a quick look at Erenshor. Let me know what you think. You can, as always, find my links below, my coffee page, my Twitch channel, and you can also give this one a like and share it and do all that other good stuff. Yo, go well. Enjoy making those characters and enjoy playing this single-player MMORPG. Happy that.